All right, all right, all right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee and Cigars Thursday Night Hang. How you all doing? Welcome back to another Thursday. This is episode 234. Can you believe 234? What a funny name. 234 episodes. It is Thursday, April 10th, 2025, and there it is. So we're here and back again with another week of coffee and cigars. So this week we've got what do we have? We have some coffee. Now my ears are kind of off. What's going on, Brian? Oops. What's going on here? Show on stage? What? I don't know what that means. Why is it? They've added a feature here where I have to it says if I click on a comment, it says if it gives me this window, it says show on stage. I'm like, why? Why do I need to have this? Right there. So now it's there. Share your referral link. God, get out of the way, for God's sake. What is all of this crap on here tonight? Okay, they want me to show this. Hide that crap. God, get rid of that. What a pain in the butt this is. What a pain in the butt. I don't know what's going on with them. So today we've got some cigars. We got a cigar. We got our cigar for the days. Oh, I forgot it. Hold on a second. I was doing a lot of stuff before we started, so I had to kind of a little bit late to beginning to get all of my accoutrements. Plus, it's a little bit chilly, right? It's a little bit chilly. Actually, I got to set some things up first before we can really get rolling. Like the heater, it's kind of chilly. This time, I'm going to put it kind of towards the front of my face. Much better. Okay, much better, much better. Let's see here. Craig's with us. Why do you have to ask me that? I don't care. I mean, I'm pressing on the button. I'm pressing on it because I want to put it on there. What? And then this referral. Let me just get this. Take a screen capture so I can complain about this later. George Shem, how are you? Craig, good morning, good afternoon to you. So we're going to start off with some coffee. And we're going to do a little bit of brewing. It's going to be relatively easy, right? We're going to do this brewing where I've already got the clever, and I have some ground coffee here. So I'm going to, goodness, what is going on with everything is all, Rusty's with us. What's going on, Rusty? Did I even show up? I can't tell anymore because it's all in the way. So we're going to take the coffee, pour it in here. This sometimes you just want to do coffee really simple. You don't want to muss with it. You don't want to fuss with it. So we're going to pour this in. I boiled some water, and I just put it in here. It's about 12 ounces, right? We're just going to pour it in. Now my filter is kind of small for this. I got the number 2 filter, so we're not going to fill it all the way up. We're just going to fill it there, and we're going to let that steep 4 minutes. We're going to let it sit there for a few minutes. Let it do its thing. Tony's with us. What's going on, Tony? How are you? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right, so we're rolling. So today we've got. I'm trying out a new chair. Like I showed you guys this chair when I was working on it before, and I finally finished it. But last week I finished. Actually, it's been finished for over a week, but I haven't really used it. Just I've coated it with tung oil, and I wanted to let it sit and do its thing. And so it's finished. And so I wanted to try it today to see how long could I sit in it. All right. So this is the chair, made out of all walnut, with a little bit of a split and some, some bow ties. The chair is actually designed really for stringed instrument players. So for a cellist or something, the idea is that it allows you to have freedom of expression of movement, right? So you have the ability to move and not have anything encumber your playing. And that's kind of the idea behind this chair. And so I sat in it a couple times over the past week, and it's in the couple minutes that I was sitting on it, it seemed fairly comfortable. But now it's like, okay, let's see how long we can sit in this and before my butt starts to hurt, right? That's really kind of the big question. How long before the butt hurts? George is with us. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. How's it going? How's it going? And timely start. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Oh yeah, the tongue oil really has darkened the wood. Like the tongue oil really has darkened the wood. The nice thing, that's one thing I've really enjoyed about the tongue oil is that I built a cherry table, and like you can kind of see some of this detail here, this figuring in the grain. This was not very apparent last week. The longer it sits, the more it comes alive. And actually, right now, it's really in need of a second coat. So I should have done it today, but I was going to use, since I figured I was going to use the chair tonight, I was like, well, I will not, I won't coat it so that my butt won't get all like coated, right? All right, so the chair will be fine, but how long can you be in performance? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find that out too, I think. Oh, this really is pissing me off now. Like, this change to their interface really sucks. Anyway, whatever the case may be, we got our coffee. So our coffee is now 8 minutes, so almost 4 minutes in the brewer. I'm gonna let it run a little bit longer because I have a little bit less coffee than I normally would use. There's like 20 grams instead of 20. We can stop it now. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna put it in here. All right, good, good. Now I'm going to add a little bit more water just to balance it out because, like I said, we didn't put as much water as we normally would have. Let's add a little bit of water to this. But since it's only 20 grams, I'm not going to put the full 12 ounces, right? Okay, okay. Oh, I need the lid. So many things to go with. George says, looks lovely so far. I'm back from a road trip. That's right. How was your trip up to New Jersey? Did Rusty get to make it out to see you? Ready to fire up an Angel Share Opus X and enjoy a Boulevardier. Oh, nice. Nice. Well, cheers to you. Cheers to you. Oh, yeah, there it is. This particular blend of coffee has a nice, like, natural component. So there's a good, like, fruitiness to the coffee that I always kind of enjoy. So, all right. All right. Here we are. Here we are. We have coffee. Now it's time for the cigar. Tonight's cigar is called the Flor de Coisier. Is that right? Flor de Coisier Seleccion Escogida Lumina Robusto, and it's made, of course, for Privada Cigar. And thank you, Mom, for this cigar. Appreciate it. This is a Lancero-shaped cigar called the Lumina. Right? George will know this. What band are they evoking with this? What Cuban band are they evoking with this red band? So this is made by a company called Pure Aroma Cigars, and yeah, I don't know much about it. Let's see. I'm going to look it up here and see. So the Escogida Lumina they say it's most unique for the aging process, right? The aging process, the cigars are rolled and then they're aged for 120 days. Ooh, there is a little bit of this like aroma from Spanish cedar that you would expect from the escaparate. And the escaparate is the name of the room where they keep the cigars during the aging process. I mean, the escaparates typically aren't made with Spanish cedar. That you're typically putting like in cabinet boxes of 50, and then having the cigars in those. But actually, gosh, it feels super nice. Like this is nice and smooth and silky of a wrapper. Like wow, this is. Oh yes, Portales. That's the one. That's the one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. George says, indeed he did. I'm now the proud owner of a rusty door. Just like the way you see during a live show. But awesome. That's awesome. Oh, did I show it? I showed it. I showed it. I showed that, right? Okay, good. Okay, good. This is not pleasant. Oh, good. Rusty says he did get to meet up. Excellent. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. All right, what's going on here? I am not liking this. Not liking it at all. Okay, so, but actually, has a really nice, lightly Spanish cedar aroma. Overall, it's actually very kind of sexy, right? It's smooth and silky and really feels beautiful. Like it seems like a beautiful cigar. So let me just make some notes here for our color. I mean, wow, fragrance, very high. Okay, so let's now cut it. I'm just cutting it. George says, make his 120 days makes it sound like a long time compared to saying 4 months. Ah, gotcha. Of course, of course. But that is longer than I've heard from other producers. Is that correct? Oh, there's a little bit of a pigtail on the cap, right? So we cut that off. Depending on how I sit or position my center of gravity, like right now, since I'm sitting more flat on it, it's very stable, the chair. But a moment ago when I was like heavily canted over, it felt a little bit unstable. It only has 3 feet, so cold draw, the draw itself is a little bit tight. If I really pull on it, I get a little bit of sweetness out of it. But it doesn't feel very expressive. George says, I have assembled a few gifts for Rusty, hoping he can join us for the Derby Day party. Ooh, that does sound good. That does sound good. And Devin's with us. Devin's, what's going on, Devin, man? Good to see you. How are you? How are things in Florida? Yeah, this is just this new layout or this new control system is really it's just interfering with the usage of it. All right, we have the light up. Oh. So fragrance is really nice. Like that's really hot. But then the cold draw, tight draw, and not terribly expressive, just a little bit of sweetness. So man, I would love to give it higher marks, but I would kind of say it's kind of medium. So I'm gonna say 8.25. And then now we will go for, yeah, like see if I lean forward, it kind of wants to lift up. All right, let's try it out. Nice character on the light. I'm feeling like some chocolatey notes. Now, evidently, this cigar has Ecuadorian wrapper, Ecuadorian Habano wrapper with Dominican binder, and the fillers are from Jalapa, Nicaragua, and the Dominican Republic. And evidently, the fillers are supposed to be aged for 5 years before they're put together. And then, of course, like you said, they put it in for 4 months. 4 months. Okay, let me try this. Like a Lancero, a little bit tighter, like a little bit, because it's a narrow, what? It's just like maybe like a 38 to 40. So it's a little bit tighter on the draw, but not necessarily negatively so. Right. George says you also press lower, so the rise of the chair doesn't quite pair with your work table height. Hmm. The height of the seat here on this one is actually 17 and a half inches, which I think is comparable to a lot of like regular tables. But this table that I have next to me, this workbench is actually a workbench. This workbench is higher than most tables. Like tables are typically 30 inches. This is 36 or 920 millimeters. I don't have anything table height around here because normally you're standing with a lot of stuff. Oh, now a little bit of spiciness. Actually, quite quite nice, quite interesting. George Shem's with us, enjoying the attic series. Gosh, double click on these dudes. Enjoying the attic series from West Tampa Tobacco. Awesome. Awesome. And George is guessing 40 ring gauge. I hear you on that. I'm actually heading to Pennsylvania tomorrow. I've got a tour scheduled at a place called George Nakashima Woodworkers. So I know we talked about this chair original design was designed by his daughter Mira, and so a couple months ago I was looking to see about visiting his workshop, and they do tours, but the tours are kind of difficult to get. Like the one day in January when I was looking, the next tour they had available for scheduling was in September, and I was like, oh man, September. So I waited till the next day, and I was like, okay, I guess I can do September. And when I logged in, it was like, oh, we have one spot available on April 11th, and I was like, oh, I'll take that. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Is heading up to Pennsylvania, to New Hope, Pennsylvania. Actually, that's nice. Mom, this is quite good. This is quite good. George says, what I'm saying is that the frame and the camera feels, oh, I'm definitely sitting lower. Definitely, because normally I'm normally sitting about maybe another 6 inches higher than I would. Because instead of having the table, like I always sit at this workbench right here, at least here in the garage. So normally I'm sitting on this stool that I'm using, right? I'm using it as my cup support today. But, but this is the stool that I'm normally sitting on, and that's easily the thickness of my thighs. So it's a significant difference in height. Whereas this is more of a typical seated position. I've been trying to. I have this book. I found this book. I don't know if you. I found this book. I've actually been looking for this book for a very long time, without knowing that it actually existed. But I read about it in this other author that whose book I've been reading mentioned it. And I was like, oh man! So it's called Human Dimension and Interior Space, and what it's about anthropometry, anthropometry, something like that, and it's really about the study of, or it's not a study, but it's really about it's a source book. It says here, a source book of the standards of design reference standards. So about human physicality, and it's something I've always been curious about and interested in designing the different cafes and the different tables that we've used over the years. What are the ideal standards? Like you see some stuff online, you hear some stuff within the industry. They talk about like how high maybe the desk should be, or how high the bar should be, 42 inches, 38 inches, something like that. And you kind of work around that, but you don't. I didn't know until recently that this book existed, and I was like, this is and I'm trying to read it, but I can't really understand. It is a reference standard written by very smart people who are very sciencey, of which I'm none of those things. So it's quite a challenge. It's quite a challenge. Devin says, I'm smoking the DeCossier Selection S80. Oh, awesome. Awesome. How do you find it? Is it good, or what do you think? Tell us. Tell us. Tony's having the 10-year age AJ Fernandez Ave Maria Reconquista Belicoso. Woo, woo. Let's say that again. 10-year age AJ Fernandez Ave Maria Reconquista Belicoso, and a traditional dry Pepsi. Excellent, excellent. Although, should you be smoking AJ Fernandez? Because won't there be a dearth of AJ soon? So maybe it's better to hold on to that. Devin says my lips are numb for some. Oh, I don't know what that has to do. My lips are not numb, luckily. Actually, there's a nice blend of spice and flavor. My lips are actually quite tantalized. I've been thinking about a lounge chair, right? I've been thinking about a cigar chair. And I was really prompted because really I'm just ripping off ideas, So this chair, made by Mira Nakashima originally, designed by her, I ripped that off. And I saw a chair not too long ago where George Nakashima, her father, made, where he would take like a piece of like wood cut off and use that kind of slabby looking thing to make a chair arm. And I was like, that's kind of a cool idea. And then I saw this other chair that I really liked. I thought the design was nice. But what I was thinking about was, what about a cigar chair? We need a cigar chair. A cigar chair for lounging that's comfortable, that's got a good rake, but not too far raked. Like you don't want to be like leaning too far back. You want just a little bit of lean so you can cross your legs and chill and relax, and the arms at the right height. And I was thinking about this, right? I was at the Timberline Sawmill the other week. I don't know if I showed this already, but I came across this piece of walnut. Right, looks like this. Fairly nice. But I was thinking, this is the armrest right here. This is the armrest. This is the place for the coffee, or the place. Huh? What do you think? Huh? On your chair, so it's all at the ready, but it's elongated. Like this is a pretty long. This would be longer than I think. Well, maybe not that long. It's actually not that long. I should have got a longer one. This is what I'm thinking about. I was like, and then you keep the natural live edge. But I love the figuring on this. Like, look at this thing. I think it's got nice figure, a little bit of a hole. I love holes. I love like I love the errors in wood. Devin says the numb lips mean the wrapper has some nicotine in it, but the flavor is velvetier, is like velv, what? Vetiver, is like vetiver. Very green, slightly iconic, and cooling smoke. Oh, that actually sounds great. But I don't know what vetiver means. With this particular chair, what I have to do is get my niece to come over. My niece is a cellist, and I was like telling her about this, and she was like, "Oh," I said, "You need to bring your cello over one day, and so you can. I want to see how you what you think about the dynamics of the chair. Maybe it can be changed or improved." Devin says Tony's got to have the Diet Cherry. Absolutely, absolutely. And Diet Cherry Coke won't do. Won't do. It won't do. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting. I'm feeling like the smoke is starting to linger. Got to turn the fan on. Did I show this already? Did I show this? I think I did. Vetiver is a tall grass whose roots are used in. Oh, I'm not familiar with that. Any? So is the vetiver that you're getting, is that more a flavor or more like an aroma, like a taste versus aroma? Excuse me. Yeah, this is actually really, really nice. Like I'm a good complexity, really enjoyable spiciness. Just really like I gotta say it's great. Like this is really I'm like, all right. Like a lot of the ones we've had on the Bravado from Bravado were good. This is actually starting off like gangbang. George says, Southeast Asian grown, and the oil is used for aromatherapy, fragrance products, and some homeopathic applications. I'm not familiar with that. All right, cool. So, how was your guys' week? Anything interesting happen? I must be having allergy. Someone said on my live stream in the morning, yesterday morning, they're like, "I think you have allergies." And I'm like, "I don't think I have allergies. I'm like, I don't think I normally have allergies, but man, my nose has been a little bit like actually not at all today until just now. Now it's a little bit like tingly. Oh gosh, this thing. Sorry, that's not trying to put that out there. Do a nasal Hey, that's okay. Let me get the little like gourd right in. Actually, I think that stuff would freak me out. Like, I wonder if I can just like hold it down. No, that doesn't do anything. Oh gosh. Good suggestion. So here in the garage, I've been cleaning things up and like getting rid of a lot of stuff. And even though if you were to see it, it wouldn't look that way. There's actually quite a bit of stuff that's gone. Now, I used to have so much stuff piled between the two doors that it was kind of like a big U channel. Now it's less of a U and just kind of like a little stubby area. But I've learned that that little stubby, that big long U that used to exist here, actually served a purpose. Like, there used to be enough between the two doors to kind of prevent crosswind, right? So when I would run the fan, air would come in this door, fan would blow it out the other door. But now that the expanse is much wider and that divide is much less, it mixes a lot more. So it's actually not as efficient. Like before, it was quite efficient. Now, not so much. Tony says, just buy the nasal spray, the spray nasal saline a can. It's much easier than the neti. Yeah, I'm not a big neti pot fan. Like that doesn't. The idea of shoving water up my nose and around my like canal does not sound like a good time. I think I just take Claritin and be done with it. Better living through drugs. You know what I'm saying? Neomed. There are things that I'm actually a scaredy cat of, like that kind of thing. George says that whenever I use the neti pot, I feel like I'm water. Yeah, see, I don't like that idea. I figure that I'll get waterboarded at some point in time already, so why rush it? But yeah, that time I inhaled some of the smoke. All right, all right. This is pretty good. But I did get another chair this week. Like I've been waiting for it for the last like 6 months. I went to Harbor Freight, and they have a sale this weekend for their rolling chair. Look at this thing. This icon like rolling chair for your garage. Back during Black Friday in November, October, November, this was $65. It's normally like, I don't know, $150 or something like that. Oh, that's actually not bad. Cushiony, springy, right? And this week it's $69, $70. I was like, oh, $70. I'll buy that. So I bought that. It's like the most exciting thing I've bought in a long time. I'm like, all right. George says it works better than what your pharmacist wants to sell you. Yeah, but you know, I'm sure the holistic medicines work really well, but it's the waterboarding thing that I just don't like. Rusty says with the neti pot, you have to get the right angle into your nose, and it's a pain if you don't. Oh, yeah, see, that's why. That's why. Right now, I have the sniffles. I haven't had the sniffles all day. From the time we finished the show yesterday morning until now, no sniffles. I don't know what causes it. And I was in here in the garage for like the last few hours, cleaning. Oh, yeah, I like this. George says, doesn't Festool make the attachment for the larger storage box that has a fold-up chair? They have this. They do have a stool that's kind of like on wheels like this, similar to this, but has a drawer. But as you know, as with most Festool, it's wildly expensive. I've seen it online. I don't know if they still sell it as part of the catalog, but I've seen them used for like $700. So like $700. People are crazy. I'll just wait for the icon for $70. Matt bought one too, and he was like, "You didn't get the green one?" He's like, "I got the green one." I was like, no, I don't want. I wanted the red one. I can't do too much green. It'd be too much. Too much. Even my cigar's secondary band is green. Look at this. Brian wants to know if Steve's out there. Steve, if you're out there, let us know. Even if you're driving home. But don't get into an accident. We don't want that to happen. Devin says, I use a bottle that you press. Yeah, it feels uncomfortable, but I breathe and things and smell things better. Oh, okay, maybe. I will think about it. I will think about it. Tony says, Rusty, hence the 3 sprays out of the nasal saline can on each nostril. Oh, gosh. That doesn't sound like fun. O'Brien says, Steve lost his closest friend. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. That's terrible. This girl I know also this past week, she passed away. Those of you here in Baltimore might be familiar though with the Brick bodies, like Vicky Brick. I knew her about many years ago, and yeah, she just died of ovarian cancer a couple days ago. I was like, oh God, terrible. Yeah, that's terrible. Terrible. It's terrible. Was it? I presume it was a relatively sudden thing, or was it something that's been ongoing? Gosh, stop that. Don't get me wrong. Even though I think those messages are popping up, I'm not trying to hit that. It's just right in the where all of the comments pop up. This little this link to say share your referral. It just is like right in front of the messages. It's actually quite frustrating. Oh man, that's even worse. Jesus, I'm sorry, man. That's terrible. I feel like I'm smoking this too fast. Like I feel like we're almost finished with the first third. I should slow down now. Slow down. Did I get my free gift from her? Oh, the free gift. I did. I did. I went one day and oops, I got the grabber. That was kind of nice. And then the other day I went and they gave me a pair of gloves. Huh? Gloves. That was they had a special where you just had to go in and they would give you a gift. Now they did have these. They were supposed to have those like towels, but they didn't have any towels. At my location, I was like, "Come on, man! I want the towels." Definitely, absolutely. Harbor Freight price about 104%. I thought they're putting that off today. That's why you got to buy now. Buy. Actually, I was thinking about getting some. They have some pliers on sale, right? They have the Icon pliers are on sale, and they're not bad. Actually, if you've never seen them, like I don't need more pliers. There's one plier I might buy, but like this is their locking jaw pliers, right? The whatever they call this. These are actually pretty nice. They're supposedly like kind of modeled off the Knipex. So this is actually, and this is the only Icon pliers that I have because my other ones broke. I had these other cheaper ones. I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy these Icons. These are pretty good. But my needle nose pliers broke a few months ago, and so I went out and bought this Knipex. This is actually quite nice. I like this style of handle. Actually, I like this style of handle better than I like this. But evidently, this style is. There's also another type of Knipex that has this type of handle. But traditionally, I've used like Klein. Like this is a Klein I've had for many, many years. Actually, looking at it now, it's actually kind of getting kind of worn. Like I use a lot of Klein for like electric work, running like, circuits and wires and things like that. George says, please tell him that we can hold the Zoom Memorial when we hear Stephen share memories as friend. And absolutely, that would be great. We could definitely do that. Yeah, let him know. Let him know. Let him know for sure. Craig says that Knipex is clearly superior. You know, I like the Knipex, right? And that the whole thing about Knipex is really nice. But the build quality of this Icon is, I think, kind of nice. Like I'm like, oh, like the one I want to buy that I'm thinking about getting is their pliers wrench. I think it's called pliers wrench. I have a similar one that's in my domino kit. This is the crescent version. And you know, for the domino work, this is good enough. Like you don't need it to be like crazy because all you're doing is ripping the tenons out of the mortise, right? When you need to like reset them. This works well enough, and it's $16, right? The Icon version is a little bit thicker, beefier. Maybe I'll get that also. But that's the only plier that I would probably want to get. Elsewise, I mean, we got a whole like box filled mostly with Klein. And the Kleins are still very good. There is one though, this larger wire cutter that I was trying to cut some wire the other day, and I was like, it's not cutting well. I think it's kind of done. Craig says that Icon is a Snap-on copy. Hey, that's what I've been hearing. Some of the guys I know, they're like, yeah, man, they're just like, you know, Icon. They're like the Icons are just like Snap-on. And I was like, oh, at a much cheaper price than Snap-on. Because I remember buying this one Snap-on. Um, I wanted to get an air ratchet years and years ago, and I was like, man, I need to get an air ratchet. For some reason, I needed air. I don't know why. I was working on my old Volkswagen at the time, and I was like, I'm gonna need to get it. I need an air ratchet. So I saw the Snap-on guy, and I chased after him in the car, and I flagged him down in a parking lot. I was like, hey man, you have the air ratchet? It was like $230. I was like, holy crap, $230. It's pretty awesome, but it's like, whoa, so expensive. But you know, Snap-on was way too much for like it was way overkill for me. My brother though, he's got a lot. He's mostly Snap-on and Mac and I think some Blue Point. But you know, he's a professional, so actually now that he works for BMW, they give him all tools. They provide everything in his work site, so it's like he doesn't have to own anything or bring anything. It's pretty nice. But he was telling me the tools aren't as nice as he thought they would be. German, of course, but I don't know the brand. Craig says the Snap-on version can pick up a quarter on the floor by the edge of the knurling. Can we do that with this? Huh. Let's try. Let me unplug this. Do I have a quarter? I don't have any quarters. Can you believe that? I don't have any quarters with me. Okay, let's try that. We're gonna take it over here. We're gonna simulate the ground, And we're going to use a Susan B. Anthony coin. This is $1 coin. What Canadians would call a loonie. You're talking like this, Craig? Huh? That's not bad. Or are we talking it's supposed to go like this? Come on, baby. I'm not skilled enough, I don't think. It's catching. But by this point, I should just pick it up. Maybe this way? Is this what we're talking about? Or something else? Something else. I mean, I think the nice thing with the icon is you're getting nice quality for a nice price, right? I think that's kind of the big thing for it. Devin says, I use my fingers. Yeah, but if you're a mechanic, you want to do it, right? You're like, oh, guys, we're all like, oh, it'll pick up my quarter off the floor. It's awesome. No, by the second type. By the second type. Oh, you mean not this type of pliers? The other type? Oh, you mean this type of plier? This one? Let's see. Maybe the crescent will do something for us. In order for me to do these messages, it takes much more. Like it used to just be press once to show, press again to remove. Now it's like press once, it pops up on my screen and says, "Do you want to show it on stage?" And then you say yes, and then when you want to remove it, it says hide it, and then you have to hide it, and then you have to close it. It's like God Almighty. So I think we have to open the jaws. We have to open the jaws. This one is like it's like the other one, the one from Snap-on and Kinetics locks kind of like in a position. This one closes automatically. So you open it, you push it, it closes it. So is that what we're talking about? But the problem with this, like you could tell the difference. Like this, there's actually a lot of play. Look at that. See how much play there is. Whereas, like let's say even with the icon, they're not the same. I know, but there's no play here. There's no play with the Klein. I mean, I really like these. These Kleins I really have liked. And then the Knipex, no play at all. I mean, the Germans are all like, Germans. The Germans are like, if there's play, nine to the play. No, from both sides of the coin. Did I not do that both sides of the coin? I did, but yeah, but both sides, right? The sides. Oh, the way that I couldn't do. Okay. Let's go back and see this again in action. Okay, we're gonna go back here. See, I can roll around with this icon chair. I can't do that with my chair. Okay, so we want to pick it up like this, right? How about? Oh, let's get the other. Let me get the other pliers that I have. Okay, Linesman pliers by Klein. No. And then this one is, strippers by Klein. No. How about Crescent? Nope. All right, now Knipex. Now this is not the same one, but let's see. Knipex. Now, granted, this is not a quarter, so it doesn't have the Susan B. Anthony does not have the knurling on the outside edge of. Yeah, I can't do that. I can do it like this, but I guess that's easy. I don't know. we'll have to wait for Steven to chime in to tell us what kind of tools he prefers as an automotive professional. Craig says the Knipex pliers, wrench, and Cobra are worth it, as are their small bolt cutters if you need. Yeah, like I was telling you about the I have these. This, not very good. This one I've been disappointed with. This would not cut the wire. And I'm not talking about like copper wire. I was cutting steel wire with it the other day, like really thin steel wire, and it just wasn't cutting it. I actually had to go and I cut a little bit, and then I had to use. Then I finished the cut with my linesman pliers. Like these are awesome. Like this has been an awesome performer. This one, not so much. Like it's, you can even, I think it's even damaged. If you look at the, I think it's even, I was like, ah, stupid. It's like, very disappointing. But I would like to get that Knipex pliers, wrench, and the Cobra. They have Icon has this one called the Parrot. Then I was like, ooh, Parrot, that looks kind of interesting. My cigar's gone out. Doing the Cirillo method to relight, which always seems to work very well. Devin says, I smoked the Tatuai Reserva broadleaf earlier. Highly recommended. Ooh, I haven't had one of those in quite a while. Bud says, nothing compares to Knipex. Nothing compares. Nothing compares to Knipex. Oh, did I not put that? I did. I just put on that. Oh, never mind. This silly thing. But do you have a lot of Knipex? I only have this one. I got this at Commercial Electric. Man, it's $42. I was like, holy crap. I was like, oh my gosh. But I really needed a new pair of like, because my old one, like my old needle nose pliers, like part of it broke off right there. And I was like, that's useless. I mean, it was a cheap pair of like pliers, so I just threw them away. I recycled them and bought these, and these are awesome. Like these are awesome. They are awesome. Like even I've got a cutter right here, cutter. And it feels nice and smooth, like it's smooth. Like, oh. This one, tough. This one, a little bit tough too, a little bit tight. Like it's smooth like this, but once you pull it here, it starts to get tight. Tight, which is not bad. But this is just buttery. Bud says, I have 6 or 7 pair of alligator and 4 pair. Whoa! That's awesome. Do you have them all in the same size, or like, are they multiple sizes? George says, by the way, Numist, what? Excuse me. Nernistamicis referred to it as milling, not knurling. Ah, okay, you're right. I remember that in my days of doing machining, they would actually use, well, for checking on a gun, they would actually use a file and cut the checks into it. I imagine this is done on some kind of mill or something. That was a long time ago for me. George says, join us at Capitol on May 8th for a total Tatuai experience with, ooh, May 8th, okay. Will I be here? I'll be here. Where am I supposed to go? I'm supposed to go somewhere. Oh, yeah, because, ooh. That's going to be tight. I'm attending an event on May 9th in Connecticut, in Manchester. So I'm going to have to see. I would like to be there, but the Manchester thing starts at 9 a.m. What time is the, I mean, imagine the event's at night, right? May 8th at night. Numismatist, numismaticists, numismatists. Forgive my spelling. I can't, or pronunciation. I don't know. I've never even heard of that. Devin says it sounds like an amazing time. It should be a great time. Like usually the events when George brings Pete to come out, always a great time. Like I remember that one time, George, one of the early ones at Tobacco Leaf, where we had that kind of like, question and answer session with Pete. That was really fun to hang out with everyone for that. But it says he has at least doubles of almost every. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. But that's what a professional does. A professional has proper tools in multiple quantities so that in case one dies, the other will be at the ready. I totally hear you on that. I totally hear you. George says that whenever I have to hang out with Pete, it's a blast. Oh, yeah, I believe it. I believe it. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Okay, so I'm going to say we have to rate the first third because I got to say the first third was really great. Gangbusters. Good. I'd say more medium bodied. The problem with mechanical pencils is that once the lead has been used enough that it no longer is in the jaws, but just in the nib, it always it drifts. It's like really a pain. So the body got very good plus. I'm gonna say 8. We're gonna switch. 8.75. Flavor, I'm gonna say was excellent. 9. Okay, we're rolling. The second third that we're in the middle of now, I would say, is rolling along pretty much similar. Not really too dynamic, but it's still very good. Tony says professionals use them 2 at a time. I believe it. That's why I'm not a professional. George says, I'm always up late with Pete, but I too have to be on the road on the 9th. We are holding a memorial service at Carnegie for the owner. Oh, wow, man. Up in New York City? That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that too. What time is that? In the afternoon? Yeah, my event starts at like 9. The first event starts at 9:30, so that might be a little bit difficult. And it's up in Manchester, so it's not like I can just train it up. Well, I can't train it up. I got to drive because I'll probably have to go to Boston after that. George says Carnegie Club being one of the more enduring NYC cigar bars. Yeah, the Carnegie Club. I've been there a few times. It's quite enjoyable. Normally we'll get a place upstairs. I don't know if that's supposed to be wherever all the cigar people normally sit, but we've always sat upstairs for some reason. I don't know if that's normal or not. But usually when I'm in New York City, like Carnegie's a little bit far from where I stayed down in Chelsea, so we usually walk over. We're really like my friend's place is really in like a couple blocks walking distance from Hudson Book. Is it Hudson Books? The bookstore, bar, coffee shop, cigar bar. And then if we want to walk, then we'll sometimes walk down to like Soho Cigar Bar on Canal Street. And then every once we used to go before they changed to the Casa de Monte Cristo, or when they changed again. when it still was smoke in, we would sometimes trek up to smoke in on 51st and First. Is 51st and First? Because I always liked to smoke there. I always enjoyed hanging out there. But a lot of times Hudson's just so much closer. But Craig George says, but nickels don't have the million. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and these are Susan B. Anthony coins, but they're very similar to the U.S. nickel, where they are smooth. Doesn't have the doesn't have the knurling that a quarter has. Oh, good Lord. Hudson Barn Books, so the owner that passed away of Carnegie used to own Hudson Barn Books. Wow. I guess that makes sense. I guess there's some design, some of that old kind of rustic, kind of full feeling kind of place. Hudson on Jane. Yeah, yeah. You have to walk by the pickleball courts now. So nice cigar. Still smoking well. I do like this one. I am enjoying this one. Come on, man. It's our loony. We have to use more of it. I don't remember though, like when I used to go to Toronto a lot. Like, here in the United States, when you go to the strip club, you use a lot of dollars. And here in America, our $1 is a bill. But in Canada, it's a coin. I don't recall anymore like what we would use at the clubs in Canada. Craig, what say you? And how's the house coming? Did you get all the electric done that you were working on last week? There's a deeper spice that's seeming to emerge from the cigar now that we're getting deeper into it. Like we're getting close to being finished with the second third. George says Bar and Books chain was two partners, Mark Grossman and Raj Mirshalandani, but they split over the Campbell Apartments deal, and he started Carnegie and World Bar. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened with the Campbell Apartments. Craig says, for years, I wouldn't be surprised if it is 20 to the dance minimum. Oh, wow. Wow. That's quite a bit. That's why I don't go to strip clubs. Can't afford it. Oh, $5 minimum. There is $5. Oh, $5 minimum. Okay. Was it true of that even back in the 90s? That was the era that we would go there. Early to mid 90s. Or mid 90s. Yeah, early to mid 90s. Oh, it's $5 back in the 80s. Okay, gotcha. All of that is kind of hazy for me. It's like, I don't remember. Like, I have some friends that are always like, remember we used to do this? Remember we did this? We did that? We did this? And I'm like, that sounds like we had an awesome time. It's like, it was an awesome time. I was like, I don't remember that. Okay, so we're getting close to the band. So I'm going to take the band off. Band says Lumina. George says, too long to go into tonight. Maybe. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nah, you don't have to explain it to us now. There's always time. Always time. Speaking of tools, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but last week I was up in Pennsylvania and I swung by the, I think I might have said that went by the DeWalt Factory Service Center. And I was there picking up a tool, a part to my, to some, I was picking up a part. And while I was there, yeah, I was there on Tuesday, and I might have mentioned this earlier. So Friday, I went back up there because I had to get something else. And so I swung by the service center. So when I was there Tuesday, they said that, hey, they had a sign for this thing called the trade up program. And I was like, what is this trade up program? They're like, oh, if you bring in a tool, an old tool, you can exchange it and get a discount on a new one. So I was like, what? So on Friday, I went up there and I brought this old DeWalt DW997. So in 1998, this was the bomb. I think this is the bomb in drills. Like, this is awesome. And it still works. Like, I still have an adapter to put a 20-volt thing on it. But I think that my 12-volt surpasses this one because it's just so old, right? And it's also a beast. It's heavy. It's heavy. But I said to them, I really didn't. I didn't have the chance to like look into it, and so I was looking some videos online, and I saw this thing called the 805, which is the new compact XR drill, or the newer. It's been out for a few years. So I said to the lady, I said to Amy, I said, hey Amy, let me get the 805. She's like, all right. The 805 is something like $200, I think, if you bought the tool by itself. And she was like, okay, but we don't have one here. We have to bring it in. But when it comes in, I'll call you. It'll be $109. It was $109. So $90 off. All right, pretty good. I looked up online at Home Depot. Cheapest I could find at Home Depot or at Lowe's was $179, so $180. So $70 off. Right? So that's a good deal. I think that's a good deal, right? For the like modern, high-tech imp hammer drill. But I didn't really understand anything, so I was watching more videos over the weekend. I was like, man, I need to educate myself. And I found the new one, the new ultimate of the DeWalt line. Is called the 1007. Super awesome, right? Like the ultimate power in like DeWalt drills. So I called up on Monday and I was like, hey, can I get this one instead? And she was like, yeah, we can totally. And we have that in stock. So if you want to come up and get it whenever you're ready. I was like, all right, cool. I won't be able to get there until next week. But she's like, but it's a little bit more. It's like $30 more, or like $20 more, $30 more. It's like for $140. And I think it's like $240 for the new one. So you could take any of your old tools. And I said to her when I was there on Friday, I said, so can I bring like corded in? And like, she's like, yeah. I said, really? Any tool we can exchange. I was like, that's amazing. So if you're looking for new DeWalt tools, you want to upgrade, like maybe to the 20-volt or whatever, you can do that. Just bring your old tool. Because I asked her, like, can I get I bought a RotoZip, a DeWalt RotoZip type of tool for $30 at the restore because they had it. That was corded, and I was like, oh, that I could probably use that at some point. And I said to her, so can I bring my corded RotoZip? And she's like, yeah. And can I get the 20-volt? She's like, yeah, of course. And I was like, oh my gosh. So craziness. I was like, craziness. George says, do you think strip clubs in Montreal have a trade-in program? There are some great clubs in Montreal. Where you return dancers for young. You could actually, we shouldn't go into that. This is a family show. It's a family. We should go into those things. But I did enjoy Montreal quite a bit when I was younger. Fond memories at the Hotel Galt. Very fancy, like modern, like overlooking the old city. It's like, oh, it was super nice. It was super nice. I was like, oh. All right, I think we could say that our second version. Now, I can't say that I'm as enamored with the second, third as I was with the first. So I'm going to say 875 for the flavor. But I'm going to say 875 also. I think it's a little bit less thrilling. Let me just calculate that. Okay. Devin says, once the ring is on, no refund. That's right, baby. I don't know that pain. I don't know that pain. Or I don't know that limitation. It's all butter. It's all butter. All right, let's switch back to the other chair. I'm really supposed to be. I was really supposed to be test driving this other chair to see how long I can last in it. I think the chair overall is relatively comfortable, especially if you like. I have a slight recline on it, like, but if I sat fully straight, not bad, not bad, not bad. But I was looking at the original chair online, and mine is not a replica. It's not mine's not a exact copy. Like there's certain things that are like not as nice. Well, not as visually stimulating. I think like the rear spline is almost double what I have, and I was like, oh, that's really a lot thicker than I thought. Craig says, all I know is when Americans come up, they like the clubs because the restrictions are less. My friends have told me that in Montreal, there are less restrictions on visitors. I've only heard about it. I know nothing else about this. I've just heard. Tony says, God bless the Canadian. Good times are to be had in Quebec. Or is that true of the whole nation? All right, let's go. Let's go. We're on the way. How? But the problem for us to go to Canada is that there's not really cigar lounges to smoke in now, right? Like I remember it being fairly restricted back in the '90s. Like you could just I don't remember going to clubs to smoke. Like we went to I remember going to like a tobacco shop in downtown Toronto, but I don't remember going out to smoke anywhere. I can't remember anyway. Who knows? Trying to remove the band and I'm tearing it apart. I like to try to preserve the band, but oh well. George is asking, does Nakashima Studios offer classes? I don't believe they offer classes. They just offer tours. And they have different, from my understanding, they have different levels of tours. I have kind of like the more basic level. They actually have one tour that's very, very limited. Like I think it's limited 6 people at a time and offered very infrequently. But it's a tour of the place with Mira Nakashima herself. She does the tour. The one that there's a basic like visitor's pass where you kind of go in to certain areas for like a couple hours. That's kind of basic. And then there's the tier that I have, which is kind of a more of an in-depth tour. And then there's the Mira level tour, which is like, I think that was like $250. I might have done that, but that was like, they just didn't even have any left. They're like totally sold out for 2025. I was like, all right. really, I just want to go hang out there and like maybe peer into the workshops, and hopefully someone will be like nice enough to be like, "Hey, you want to have a look around?" It's like, yes. I'm bringing a cigar along with me. I'm thinking maybe I can find a spot in the ground somewhere where I can just kind of have a cigar. I think it might be kind of nice for that. The George Nakashima built all. There's multiple buildings on his compound, and he built all of them. Designed and built them. It looks really interesting. Craig says that there are only two or maybe three lounges in Quebec, none in Ontario. Wow, really? None in Ontario? That's terrible. There is one across the river from Ottawa. You can't bring your own cigars. You have to buy their cigars. At least there's something. But I imagine they're pretty expensive. So across the river from Ottawa, I have no idea what the province next to Ottawa is. I know to the east is Quebec. I want to say Saskatchewan, but that's way further west. All right. British Columbia is on the other side of the coast. So it's what? It's British Columbia. So British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. I don't know what's between. I don't know. What is between. George says that in Toronto, the best option is to visit my friends at Opus on Prince Arthur for a fantastic meal and cigar and drinks in the garden after. Oh, that sounds very nice. I can't imagine that's not not than. I can't imagine it's less than pricey. Oh, it's Hull. Oh, Ottawa is on the eastern side of Ontario. Okay, what's to the west of Ontario? So I know it's like what? It's New Brunswick, Quebec, Ontario, something, Saskatchewan. I've been to all the provinces except for New Brunswick and the one that's in the center. Because Sarnia is part of Ontario, right? Right? Manitoba. Oh, it is Manitoba. Okay. What's the major city in Manitoba? I'm from America. I grew up in America. I was educated in America. So we barely even know our own like states, then much less any other country. What's that state to the north of Maryland? I don't know. New York? Oh, Winnipeg. Okay. And then next to Manitoba is Saskatchewan. So I've been to Regina. No. I've never been to Regina. I've been to Saskatoon. I have been to um, all the big cities in British Columbia. We went. So I've been to like, of course, Vancouver and um, Surrey as well. And then I've been more in the interior to. I've been to Edmonton and Calgary, as well as Red Deer and Drumheller. I've been to Drumheller of all places to see the dinosaurs. We went up. We were on a trip one year back in 1994, I think it was 1995. My friend Wes and I, after all of our friends left, we were like, let's go check out the dinosaurs at Drumheller. So we drove out the Drumheller. I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. I was like, it is kind of fun. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. George says, go all the way west to Calgary and drop in a bar with a slogan is liquor in front, poker in the. I like that. We didn't spend much time in Calgary. We went to Calgary during the years I used to play paintball. We would compete in the Canadian national championships, and sometimes we would win as the American team. from California, but that was always held in Edmonton. So we'd fly into Calgary and then drive up to Edmonton. Always a good time. It was always a good time. Then I went to Vancouver a lot when I got into the coffee business because a lot of coffee up there. Good Chinese food in Richmond, just south of Vancouver. Like, ooh, we went to this one mall. They had all these like Chinese restaurants. I was like, "Ooh, this is some deliciously eating here." Rusty says it's Winnipeg. Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I've not been to Manitoba at all, or New Brunswick. I always wanted to go to New Brunswick. My idea was that back in the days when I had a Land Rover, my idea was to drive up to New Brunswick. I don't know what I was going to do there. I was just going to drive there. Well, I also had the idea of driving to the Arctic Circle, up to like Prudhoe Bay, through the interior of Alaska. Good thing I never attempted that because I don't think I was ever at a point where I was prepared for that kind of adventure. George says Shatner used to drop into that paintball tournament. Did he really? Wow. So speaking of Shatner, right? That guy, I can't believe he's still around. He's like preserved. They have this. So there's this thing in Ticonderoga, New York State, right? Called the original Star Trek series tour, where these people, these fans, have built a replica of the original Starship Enterprise. And I've always been kind of interested to go. Like, and in June they're having an event. I'm not going to go to this because it's kind of, I'm sure it's wild. It's probably sold out by this point, but should be pretty wild. Where you basically are on the bridge of the Enterprise with William Shatner. Like he talks and gives stories. A lot of the big fans. I'm a fan of Star Trek, but I'm not that hardcore about my fandom. But I would like to go check it out. Like that seems like a cool. The only problem is during the wintertime, they're only open on the weekends. Summertime though, starting I think next month, they're going to be open pretty much 7 days a week. So I was thinking, sometime this summer I'm going to go and check it out. Of course, not on the weekend because that's when a lot of people go. I want to go midweek, where it's easy. I didn't realize how much of a Star Trek fan I was for many, many years. Because when I was young, I was a big Star Wars fan. Like I love Star Wars. I think I'm less a Star Wars fan now than I was before, even though I still enjoy it, right? But I remember many years ago, back in the '90s, my family and I went to Las Vegas, and back then at the Hilton in Las Vegas, they had the Star Trek experience where you would go. It's this whole like Star Trek world they built, and you go there and like you go in this transporter room, and they transport you onto the bridge of the Enterprise, the one from the Next Generation. And I was never a big fan of Next Generation. Like it was cool. I was more of a Voyager person, right? But I remember they did this effect where they had this smoke and they had this air blast, and you kind of like it got dark, and then you kind of like emerged, and like the lights came back on, and you were on the they really it was like they really transported you, and you're like, and you're on the bridge of the Enterprise D, and I was like, oh, this is kind of awesome. I was like, this is awesome. I was like, this is amazing. I was totally stoked. I'm like, okay. Like I think I've kind of figured out why I'm less of a Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan, right? Because Star Trek, what I like about Star Trek is kind of about hope, right? The future of humanity in our lifetime, or in our timeline, right? In our world, where the future of humanity is a hopeful and benevolent society, right? Where people are like, they get along, or they get along for the most part. They have, better ideals or whatever. It's nice. Where Star Wars is about dominion and suffering and pain and just, I mean, if you look at the Star Wars stories, all of them, it's just a horror show, right? Like, it's like Like we talk about like the forces of good and evil, but the one thing about Star Wars, evil prevails, right? The whole Star Wars trilogy, the original one, 1977, was built on the fact like here's Darth Vader, here's the Death Star, here's the Empire, they're crushing everything, and here's Luke Skywalker and these rebels, and they're trying to find a way to beat the Empire, and they beat the Empire, right? They blow up the Death Star. Success, right? And you're like, okay. They have that ceremony. Princess Leia's looking kind of sexy, and everything's really nice, and you're like, all right. Hope is there for the galaxy. Fast forward to like the new trilogy with Rey, and what has happened? Evil has prevailed, right? Evil still reigns, right? And then this First Order is back. You're like, what? 30 years, they're back already? Gosh, it's taken like 80 years for the Nazis to come back, at least 30 years. Well, what even happened during that time? And then at the very end of that series, we learned that, oh, evil prevails. Palpatine is still alive. He's still around, and he's been stockpiling Star Destroyers. You're like, what in the world? To create new Dominion. And you're like, what in the world? So it's just about suffering and pain. And then you watch like the other movies, like for example, Rogue One. Like you watch Rogue One, and like I remember about halfway through Rogue One, I'm in the theater, I'm thinking to myself, oh, everybody here is going to die. They're all going to get wiped out. If for no other reason than just the plot doesn't allow for them to exist in the main series. So they got to wipe them all out. And of course, what happens? The Death Star comes along and obliterates them. You're like, wow, man. It's just a dark, terrible world. Like it's horrific. It's horrific. This is my interpretation. George says, any of you major Trekkians should seek out the episodes of Have Gun Will Travel, where Gene Roddenberry worked out all his themes, as well as how to pace. Oh, Have Gun Will Travel. I will have to watch that. George says, Star Trek is the United Nations in space, whereas Star Wars is the Wild Wild West during its bloodiest era. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. But in Star Wars, I think there's no hope. No hope. It's just bleak. Darkness is coming. It's terrible. It's a terrible place. It's a terrible galaxy to live in. Thank God it's far, far away and a long time ago. I mean, even like Battlestar Galactica, facing total annihilation of the human race, has more hope than Star Wars, right? Like because they landed here 150,000 years ago and like seeded us. But Star Wars, they're just doomed. They're just doomed in that world. George says that Andor's returning soon. I do like Andor. It's the very best of Star Wars TV ever. Yes, yes, I can see that. You didn't like Mandalorian? I like Mandalorian. Here's the thing. When it comes to these series, I know a lot of the hardcore fans are all like, they hate certain things about the different series, like whether they're Star Trek fans or whether they're Star Wars fans, they're like, oh, they hate this. But I gotta say, even though that I think that like Star Wars is a dark, horrible galaxy to live in, I prefer bad Star Wars than no Star Wars. So I'm happy for them to continue the storylines, even though I may not watch all of them. But I'm happy they're still continuing. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the important part. Devin says that Star Trek Discovery was great if you can get past the first season. I liked the first season. I actually liked everything about Star Trek Discovery. But again, like I said, I think to a certain extent I have a low bar. Like I don't have all the. I don't feel whether I'm in the Star Wars world or in the Star Trek or any of the fandom kind of things that I watch. I don't feel that anything is sacrosanct. Like nothing is inviolable, right? It's a story. It's something for enjoyment. So I'm all right with it. Like people didn't like the fact that Michael Burnham was a girl. They didn't like. So some of these fans, they find so many things to be upset about. And you're like, what do you? Stop worrying about those kind of things. Again, like for me, would you prefer to have some Star Wars or no Star Wars? Although arguably some Star Wars probably should not have been made. Like, for example, the first episode number one, the Phantom Menace, that probably should not have been made. Like we would not be missing anything. Although I hear that the younger generations have much more favorable responses to that show or that movie than people of our generation. George says season one of Mandalorian, yes. Later, oh, I like Mandalorian. It was cheesy with Grogu and like but the thing about Grogu that I don't know is like by the time Mando gets Grogu in episode series one, by the end of series one, they reveal that Grogu is 50 years old. Grogu can't do a darn thing. Like he's just like this little baby, can't do anything. Can you imagine if you had a baby that couldn't do anything for 50 years? I was like, 50 years? I mean, in season one, he could barely like you wield the force. Like 50 years of infancy. My gosh, you think about humans. Like, what's it? 3 years, 3 years of infancy. Like that's bad enough. But 50, holy God, that's most of our lifetime is gone, and this kid is like still a kid, can't do anything. That's the part. I'm like, what? Craziness. That's craziness. Tony says it's not as good as nothing is good as Galaxy Quest. Although I gotta say, Galaxy Quest, I gotta say that I think the Orville is pretty rivalry to a good rivalry to the enjoyment of Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest was definitely very good. Oh, George, like that too? Good, good, excellent, excellent. George wants to know: did the coffee impact your impression? I don't think so. I think the coffee's been nice and pleasurable, but I wouldn't say it necessarily detracted or necessarily impacted it in any significant way. This cigar has been very nice, very enjoyable on its own, by itself, without any need for coffee to enhance it. Craig says, I cannot watch a movie that has a character called Jar Jar. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Like the highlight of that was to see David Park as Darth Maul battling with Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're like, that's kind of badass. But other than that, I was like, well, what else happened? They had those silly robots that like, whatever, Roger, 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 Roger. And then they had the rolling robots with the guns. Those were, okay, those were kind of cool. But the other ones were silly. The Clone Wars, the Attack of the Clones, whatever that was, the one with Temuera Morrison. Like I'm a big Temuera Morrison fan, so anything with Temuera Morrison, I'm all automatically on board with. I'm like, okay, Temuera's here, I'm down with that. Like if you're not familiar, Temuera played Jango Fett, and you've probably seen him on the. But if you really want to see Temuera Morrison in like his finest role, there's a movie from New Zealand that came out many years ago called Once Were Warriors. And Temuera is like one of the main characters. Man, he is awesome. You're like, holy God, this guy is awesome. Like the whole movie is like just getting beat up for most of it. You're like, and I mean physically beat up. Like he's beating people with his. It's really like you're like, and evidently from what I heard, like he plays this character called Jake the Muss, which is this like estate guy, right? So he's like from the slums of Auckland, a Maori by birth, and he's married to this woman. They have like three kids, and they live, on the dole. And man, it's an excellent, excellent. It's one of the greatest movies I think I've ever seen. But it's brutal. It's totally brutal. Evidently, when he took that role on, people were like Tim Morrison. Evidently, he used to be on a soap opera in New Zealand playing this happy-go-lucky doctor that was like not very serious. So he was kind of this comical kind of actor. So people when they cast him as Jake the Muss, which was from a very popular book in New Zealand, they were like, he can't do that. He can't play that. He doesn't have the chops. And this guy, like, totally, like he blows the doors off. You're like, oh my god, this guy. Him and Raina Owen, I'm just amazing. You're like, oh my gosh, this. And then the one dude, there's this one dude that plays the brother, the friend, what they call Uncle Bully. He's actually a character actor that you've seen in many other movies. Like his character is so heinous. Like you're just like, oh my god. It's like, anyway, if you get a chance, Once for Warriors, one of my favorite movies ever. Tony agrees with Craig on that, with the Jar Jar Binks. I can't blame you. I can't blame you. Devin says Jar Jar is actually a Sith. Somehow, I would not be surprised if that was true. Misa, show you, mothers. Tony says that the Star Trek Star Wars rivalry is well played out in the movie Fanboy. Oh, gosh, I don't think I've heard about it. I've seen clips from it, but I've never seen. But I don't know. I don't know why these guys like fight about like which is better. Like, obviously, Star Trek is better. It's more hopeful. And I love Star Wars. When I was young, I loved it. Like I love Han Solo is like the hero. I was like, oh, he's the hero. Luke is a wimp, a whiny wimp that's always like, oh, what am I going to do? What Luke? The whole movie, he's always like, oh, I have to go to the water evaporators. Oh, I want to go to Toshi Station. Oh, I want to go and like join the academy and be with my friend Biggs. And oh, I got to do all this. Oh, the droids are running away. Oh, God, shut up, dude. Oh, I don't have the force. Oh, I can't see anything with the blast shield down. God, dude, you need quiet already, man. Good Lord. Just so trying. For me, Luke was always so trying. I was like, oh, come on, man. Where Han was just like, I don't believe in your crazy wacky doodle stuff, but I'm here with my blaster and I'm just gonna plow through it. I was like, okay, I like that. I like that attitude. He's got the can-do attitude. He's an American, not an Americant. George says, got to hop. Regards to all. Have a great one, George. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you as always. Ah, come on. Ah, yeah. Take care. Take care. So we're coming down to the end, and it's been very nice. It's been very nice. This is one of the cigars when it started out really great, but I gotta say it's been. I think the flavor now is still the same as it was. It's been very consistent throughout the entire smoke. However, that consistency plays a little bit against it, right? Like my palate feels a little bit used to the flavor. So it's not as exciting as it was at the beginning. Like it was, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. It's the same, right? So it's kind of like started out with like gangbusters, a lot of spice, a lot of interesting stuff, and it continued in the second, third. But because it continued, it kind of was like just continued. So it wasn't. I wasn't as enthusiastic. Same thing in this last third. It continues on. So I mean, what I said it was excellent at the outset, and then second, third, I was like, oh, just very good plus, like 8.75. So from 9 to 8.75, I would say probably 8.75 still, as we continue on. So not as dynamic as we would like to see for cigars, right? Or maybe it just doesn't have the heft to carry through. Like if I'm smoking, of course, a lot of the Maqueta, whatever that new Roma one, the one from the one. the Murcia, the Castillo, the Castellito Murcia. That one carries through. Like it's got enough body. It's got enough, even though it's lighter than most Sonoma crafts, it's got enough body and heft to carry it through the all 3/3, so that you're like it's consistent, but it's also like still very interesting. Where this one still good, but not maybe as captivating. How's your guys' cigar coming along? Anything interesting? Disappointments? Positives? Let me know. I'm interested to know. I am pleased that we are getting to more and more pleasant weather. Like I almost went outside today to do the stream outside. Like I was going to light a fire, but then it was a little bit windy, a little bit breezy. I was like, I don't feel like sitting on the breeze. But the doors are open now. It's very pleasant. It's still chilly, but pleasant. Like we were doing this like back in February, man. It was brutal, brutal. Now the jacket can be open. Chill out. We can talk about pliers, Knipex pliers. Wish they weren't so expensive. But I don't really have much need for other pliers. Like this is the one that I bought because I was like, okay, my other one's broke. I had some of those like locking jaw ones, the all steel ones that broke. So I did replace that. I've replaced that with like a Pittsburgh, so pretty cheap. But you know, I didn't see anything with from like the nicer brands. And for that one, I don't really need something heavy duty. Devin says, I smoke mine faster than you, similar to what you said. Nice throw up, but not dynamic. Totally with you. Totally with you with that. I mean, I would smoke this again. Like this was pleasant enough and enjoyable enough and interesting enough that I would be very interested to have more. Like if I had this like in a regular cigar session with friends or whatever, I wouldn't be disappointed. But it is going fast. So we still got like 15 minutes. So anything going on this weekend? Anything interesting? I'm trying to think, what do I have supposed to go on this weekend? Like I said, tomorrow I'll be up in Pennsylvania. I'm gonna crash at my cousin's house. She lives outside of Philadelphia, so I told her I'm coming over to crash at your house. Probably go home on Saturday sometime. Like she's like, "What do you want to do while you're here?" I said, "I want to go visit. I want to go visit a sawmill. There's one close to your house." I was like, but actually, what I want to do Saturday morning, one of my good friends, Alex Talbot, owns a place in kind of north of Philadelphia, a place called Curiosity Donuts. And he's this like experimental chef that does like really interesting work. And he's had this place for quite a few years, and I haven't never made the chance to go visit. Plus, every time I called him before, it was like, "Are you open?" He's like, "No, no, we're not open today." I said, "Why are you not open today?" But tomorrow, Saturday, they're supposed to be open, 7 a.m. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be there 7 a.m., but I'm gonna go up there and be like, "Okay, I'm coming to check out your donuts." He runs a website called a blog for many years called Ideas in Food. So if you're interested in like new advances in culinary technique, ideas in food, he's really really amazing. Like him and his wife Aki Komazawa, I don't know if they still do this. They used to give classes at their when they lived in Queens. So we used to go up there to take classes with them and learning about like some things related to molecular gastronomy and things like that. But oh, speaking of that kind of thing, if you're interested in culinary devices, I just saw that Dave Arnold. And if you don't know Dave Arnold is a bartender kind of chef guy that used to work for the French Culinary Institute. Rusty would know him. And I just saw a post of his on Instagram where he's talking about he's got this thing called what's it called? Basically, it's a centrifuge. It's a centrifuge designed for food product for like use in a kitchen, rather than use in a lab. Right, the lab ones you use these like little test tubes, and but this one is designed for like culinary use, and he makes them. He designed it. He has it made in China. And I just saw a post today. It's like he's got them on sale now they're normally like $1,200 or something like that. He's got them on sale for like $850. I was like, holy crap, $850. Spinzall is the name of it. Spinzall 2.0. So if you're interested in something kind of cool and interesting but it does have kind of narrow application, like, but if it's a good deal. He was the guy that turned me on to this waffle iron from Belgium. Belgium evidently makes the best waffle irons. There's a distributor in Pittsburgh that sells these waffle irons. I forgot the name of them offhand. Maybe Rusty remembers the name, but they're wildly expensive. Like like ridiculous. Like they're like $2,500, something like that. I was like, oh. Sorry. But he's always like, dude, it's the best waffle iron you can ever buy. And I was like, you're right. What would I do? How can I live without it? Just to be clear, I do not have that waffle iron. I just have a cheap wearing commercial one. It gets hot enough. It does a good enough job. For like the 2 or 3 times a year I'm going to make waffles. But if I was to make waffles on a commercial level, oh, this would be the waffle iron to have. Like there's like 220 volt. You get the 220 volt version, so it's like the European version, so it's got super power and like reheats really quickly. You're like, ah, oh, that's what you want. Like there's this 220 is always kind of nice because I got this planer, right? I said I went to DeWalt to get a part. That planer, that yellow thing right there, is a thickness planer. It's probably considered for like home users, like one of the best ones out there. I got it for like a beautiful song. Like it's normally like $700 or $800. I got it for like $200 from this dude. I was like, hey man, because I went to go pick it up. I mean, because he was asking 450, and I was like, would you take 250? And he was like, yes. I was like, I'll be right over. So I went to go pick it up, and I said, hey, do you have that wrench, that key that's for it? He's like, no, we lost the key. So I'll knock $50 off. I was like, really? He said, the key's like, I bought the key at DeWalt. The key's like $8. So I was like, what? $50? All right. So $200? All right. But there's a company called Oliver. So it's a 4-post. Right? It's a company called Oliver coming out with a new one. Similar design, 4-post, bigger. So this is 13-inch. The other one's going to be, the Oliver's going to be 15-inch, 220 volt. And I was like, oh, that would be amazing to have. I'm not going to buy that, but it's like $1,800. But I was like, okay. But with 220, so it's a lot more efficient, a lot better power, less power consumption. Tony says it would probably make great stuffing or macaroni and cheese. Oh yeah, yeah, man. That's actually what I've done mostly with my waffle iron. So usually the 2 or 3 times a year is usually the 2 or 3 days after Thanksgiving when it's all like stuffing waffles. The stuffing waffles, such a nice idea. I've not been very successful though at making like mashed potato waffles. Like I think the key is really just to let it sit there and burn for like 15 minutes. And I'm just not that patient, right? Like 4 or 5 minutes, I'm like, I gotta pull it. I gotta pull it. And then I'll pull it. And then I'm like, I should have waited. I should have waited. Should have waited like 15 minutes. What a mistake. So I think George should be leaving soon, right? Or was George already there? Like, isn't the PCA, the Premium Cigar Association show happening this week? I think it's happening now, isn't it? Because I think I saw Skip Martin posting that he was in New Orleans. So I think that's happening now. So this week has been the NAB show, the National Association of Broadcasters, as well as the Premium Cigar Association show, none of which I went to, which I was kind of sad not to go to either of those. The NAB show in Vegas, one of the guys that I know that from from the YouTube world, he was like he posted a video today and he's like, "Hey, look, this is Curtis Judd." And I was like, oh, "I know Curtis." I was like, "Man, I've always wanted to meet him in person." It's like I should have gone. I should have gone. Because Curtis, I've talked on email and on chat, but we never met in person. I was trying to go hang out with him when I was in Parks, when I was in Salt Lake City last year, because he lives in Park City, but I wasn't able to make it because I just wasn't able to get the time away. Tony says you have to add cheese to your mashed potatoes to make good waffles. Oh, all right, I'll remember that. I'm trying to remember because I don't make for Thanksgiving. I don't make the mashed potatoes. My brother makes them. I don't think I think he doesn't put. Does he put? I don't know if he put cheese or not. He puts a boatload of butter. Like he puts ridiculous amounts of butter. I'm like, dude, this is. I'm saying it's a ridiculous amount of butter. So when I make the waffles with it, or I try to make the waffles, it's always like the butter's like oozing out of the whole machine. You're like, good lord, it's gonna catch on fire soon. It's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy. Gives you great crust. Ah, I bet, I bet. Like if you like that, then there's this thing called what's it called in Mexico? When you go to Mexico, right? You go to these. There's this one taco joint called El Tizoncito that we go to, and Tizoncito is actually kind of a chain. So there's multiple locations around the country, or at least around Mexico City, maybe around the country. But Tizoncito has this thing called what do they call it? Um, maybe it's called queso tortilla. I never order. Adriana, she always orders it, so I never have to worry about it. But basically, they take on the plancha, right? They heat the plancha, and then they take the shredded cheese, whatever cheese they're using, and they spread it out, and they let it melt down until it like melts and gets all like melty and like hard and crispy, and then they do it like a big roll, like a big fruit roll up that's like this big, and they drop it on a plate, and they drop it on your table, like oh god, this, and it's all crispy. It's kind of like it's amazing. It's like those like little like cheese crisp chips that you can buy at the store in the bag. Imagine like one that's like 2 feet long, 2 feet like in diameter. That's what this is like. It's amazing. You're just like, oh God, this is good. It's so bad for you though. You feel like the oil's like all like congealing in in your bloodstream. You're like, oh, this is terrible, but this is so delicious. So if you ever get to Mexico, man, look for that. The queso tortilla. I think it's called queso tortilla. But really great, really great. Okay, so let's look at some scoring here. Like I said, I think 875 all the way around. So burn and draw has been. It did go out once, but that was because I stopped puffing on it. I have to think that it's probably I'm going to say excellent. So overall 9. Consistency very consistent. So consistency is 9. And then overall, I guess we got to say 875 for that. Oh wow. So total score overall will be 87.75 for this cigar, the Flor de Coisier. What's it called? Flor de Coisier Lumina. There's a whole like long name for it. Oh, it's here at the bottom of the screen. Flor de Coisier, the Lumine Lancero, limited edition. Here's the Flor de Coisier Seleccion Escogida Lumina. So very good, very good, excellent, excellent. All right, that was our cigar. Nice. Yeah, my plan is to get. Okay, like I said, I was going to go up to Pennsylvania tomorrow, so I've got to leave. I want to leave the house like around 7 in the morning. Now, my appointment at the tour is not till 1 p.m. But I have a live stream that I do in the morning at 10 a.m. But I also wanted before that I wanted to go and visit this lumber place called Hearn Hardwoods up in Oxford, Pennsylvania, kind of on the way, kind of like just south of Kennett Square on Route 1, because they sell koa wood from Hawaii, and I was like, I need to go get some. What they do there is that koa is from Hawaii is wildly expensive, right? Wildly expensive. So what they do, since they do a lot of processing of the koa, because they do a lot of like soundboards and fretboards for like instruments, they make a lot of that stuff. So they have a lot of offcuts, and their offcuts they sell for like $4 a pound. Now to compare, it's like 4 times the price of the normal offcuts. Normal offcuts are $1 a pound. This one are $4 a pound. The last time I went, I got some nice pieces. But this time I'm like, oh, I'm going to go and get some more pieces and maybe I can make something interesting with them. But they've got these huge bins. You got to dig through the whole bin. So I need to have time to go dig through the bins for like an hour or two. But that's my plan. So I'm trying to roll out of here by 7, hopefully. Who knows if that's going to work. But all right, I guess that's going to be good for this week. We'll be back again next week with another Thursday Night Hang. Thanks for hanging out. Always good to see all of you. It's always a good time. Back again next week with another cigar. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but we're going to find a nice cigar for next week, which will be today's the 10th, so the 17th. So hope you have a wonderful week out there. Yeah, Greg, good to see you, man. Thanks for hanging out. So, yep, that's going to be it for this week. Thank you very much for hanging out, and I'll be back again next week. So hope you have a great one, and see you next time.